So welcome to my basic transmuter guide, clean statting. So I'm going to go ahead and open my transmuter. Let me show you how the transmuter works real quick. So I'm just going to take 3 of my stats that are different. So you can't put the exact same name stats on a piece of gear because it'll override each other. So let me show you real quick. I usually do the middle slot, the top right slot, and the bottom right slot, and it reads it in this order: middle, top, bottom. So that's the order it will put the stats in if it is the same rank. Otherwise, the lower ranked stats are going to appear on the top of the stone. So right now I have a split water stat in the middle, but since it's ranked higher than the molten fire ones, that one will be put on the bottom. If you think of this as a list, then the top 6 stats on your list here are going to appear, and the higher value, higher ranked stats will get pushed off the bottom of the list. For a complete order of how it pulls stats from and puts it in lists, it's going to go stat on the gear is going to be the first place it looks to put that on the top of the list, or to put that on there. So there's no way to push stats off of gear if you're using the same value stats. If you are using a gear with like a split water stat, bad stat, and you wanted to put like bag stats on there, that would push the split water stat off. Otherwise, it's going to pull and keep the stat on there unless you clean it off with a random extractor. Right here, random extractor. Okay, so anyways, so I go middle, top, bottom. You only put 3 in at a time anyways, and I usually put the gear over on this side. It doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is show you how to tier 7 gear, because right now I have these 6 stats, which are all different names, and so basically 3 tier 6s equals a tier 7, and you need 3 tier 7s to put on at the same time to tier 7 a piece of gear. So I'm going to make my clean stones real quick, and I'm going to double check. Always double check your preview to make sure you have 3 stats that are showing up. If you only have 2 stats showing up, you either accidentally put a clean stone in here, or 2 of the stats are the same name. So this looks good. I got 2 triumphs and an ability right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm. Set that aside. And these are going to be my other 3 stats. So this one has 2 abilities and 1 triumph. And I'm going to double check and make sure that these are different names. And it all looks good. See, and then if you ever question on whether what's valued higher, you can play around with these stats here and take notice on how the names move in the preview. So right now it has ability of Molten Fire above Triumph of Molten Fire. Those are the same rank, so if I change the order that they are in the transmuter, they will swap position. Anyways, it doesn't really matter what order they're in. Just make sure you have all your good stats on the same 2 stones. So 3 good stats, 3 good stats. And then I'm going to make a tier 7 with bumper stats. So bumper stats are going to be stats that are the same value or higher of the best stat that you are using as a clean stat. So right now I am using Brine Wind as my highest stats. They are 201 value low Dura. These ones are also 201, also Brine Wind. So they are the same value as my highest level ones, which means that when I put all three, I'm going to go ahead and check my preview. All Brine Wind looks good. Go ahead, hit confirm. So now these are the same value as my good stats. So the way I manipulate it so that it takes my good stats is I'm going to put my good stones in the middle and my good stones in the top right. And this is my junk bad stone. See, so I'm previewing that. Don't hit confirm because then you're going to have a tier 8 stone. That's when you're going to want to put your piece of gear in. See, so I have my 6, got 3 triumphs and 3 abilities. I'm going to take this a step farther and I am going to make a tier 8 stone because I want to tier 8 my piece of gear. So I have all my stats and I'm just going to do the exact same thing I did with the tier 7s. So only now I'm going to have 1 good stone, but that's okay because it has all 6 of my good stats together, listed together. And then I am going to make 2 more bumper tier 8s. See, notice this one only has 3 stats, but that's because it's the same stats on some of the stones. And remember, you can only have 1 of each name. So I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm. And Harbinger is, notice it's a 201 stat. That's okay though because that's a Dreamland stat instead of a shell stat. And then here's some more Brine Wind stats. Be careful when you're using bag stats. You're going to want to play around with them in the transmuter to see what's valued higher. If I stone this and I'm trying to play with something else, if I'm able to get that bag stat, so basically if you're able to get your junk stats below the bag stat, then you know that you can bumper that with your junk stats. If you can't, then your bag stat's going to get bumped off. It doesn't always go like this is a 174 stat. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's below a 180 shell stat. The order is a little messed up with the bag stats, so you're going to have to double check before using those. Brine Wind is definitely going to bumper them though. I just wouldn't use bag stats as bumper stats because it gets kind of messy. Okay. You can always ask to, or if you just have 3 tier 6s, you can just play in the transmuter and see how they appear in the list. Okay, so middle is my good stat. Junk stat. Junk stat. Pants. So then there's my tier 8 with my 6 good stats. And everything looks great. Always check your preview anytime you're making stones or gear. Always check your preview. Okay, there's my piece of gear. But yeah, so you can always put 3 stats in here and check the order. That'll help you remember which order. This is 1, 2, 3. So I only have, these are only 2. These 2 are the same. So 1, 2. So Frost is listed second. If I flip that, Frost is listed first. Since I can move the order of those are the same value. if I put like split water in here, it doesn't matter where I put the split water. Oh no, wait, these are the same value. Hold on. Molten fire. Okay, molten fire is on top. Molten fire will still be on top, even though I switched it to this spot, because it is a lower value stat. So it'll take what's on the gear, then it'll take the lowest, well, depending on what's on the gear. If the gear has something, I don't think I have a good example. If I was to stat this necklace, it would take this Fang 14 and keep that on there unless I cleaned it off, because it is A, on the gear, and B, it is lower value. See, it'll keep that on the top. But yeah, since I can't move this molten fire to the bottom, I know that it's lower value than these ancient stats, so I can't use this as a bumper. I hope I'm as clear as I could. If there's any questions, just post them and I'll try to respond. I'll try to show some other videos of me making other types of gear too.